All right, today we're diving into something really special. It's an open source project that gives you the ultimate digital safety net, your very own personal offline internet. Let's get into Project Nomad. Okay, just to kick things off, let's try a little thought experiment. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and the internet is just gone. Poof. No Google, no GPS, no way to access that global brain we all rely on. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But our digital world is probably a lot more fragile than we like to admit. Think about it. All that stuff we take for granted, medical information, survival guides, detailed maps, even those powerful AI tools we're all using now, it would just disappear. Our entire modern life is built on a connection we don't actually control, and that's a huge vulnerability. So, what's the answer? Well, that's where Project Nomad comes in. And this isn't just about having a simple backup. It's more like a declaration of information independence. It's a way to take back control over the knowledge you need and make sure it's always there for you, whether you have an internet connection or not. So what is this thing really? Well, at its heart, Project Nomad is a totally free and open source piece of software that can turn pretty much any old computer into an incredibly powerful self-contained knowledge server. The best way to think about it is like having your own personal copy of the internet's greatest hits living right there in your house. And the stuff you can pack into it is just amazing. We're talking the entirety of Wikipedia, a local AI assistant that runs completely offline, detailed maps so you'll never get lost, tons of educational content from places like Khan Academy, and literally countless survival and do-it-yourself guides. It's the whole shebang, and it's all accessible anytime. Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds awesome, but what do I need to build one? Well, the first step is picking the hardware. And honestly, the best part is you probably already have exactly what you need just sitting around. So here's the deal. Project Nomad is made to run on your standard, everyday x86 computers. Old desktops, laptops, those little mini PCs. What it's not built for right now are things like a Raspberry Pi or virtual machines. The whole idea is to keep it simple and install it directly onto the computer's hardware, what we call a bare metal install. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It really drives home how accessible this project is. You don't need some fancy brand new machine. That 10-year-old computer collecting dust in your closet can be brought back to life and turned into an unbelievable library of information. Sure, the AI might run a little slower, but for accessing Wikipedia and all those guides, it's perfect. All right, we've picked out our hardware. Now it's time to lay the foundation. Just like building a house, our server needs a really stable base to sit on. And in our case, that base is the Ubuntu operating system. Now, I know installing a whole new operating system can sound kind of scary, but it really just boils down to 3 main steps. First, you make a bootable USB stick with the latest version of Ubuntu, which is totally free, by the way. Second, you just have to tell the computer to start up from that USB drive instead of its old hard drive. And finally, you just run the installer. And this part is super important. This process is going to completely wipe everything off the computer, giving you a perfectly clean slate for your new Nomad server. And once that solid Ubuntu foundation is set, the part that you'd think would be the most complicated, well, it turns out to be the easiest part of the whole thing. The real magic is about to happen. Now we get to the main event, installing Project Nomad itself. This is where we put up the walls of our digital library, and you won't believe how fast it happens. You are looking at it. That's the entire installation process. It's just one single line of code. You literally copy it from the project's GitHub page, you paste it into the command line, hit enter, and that's it. The script takes over and does all the heavy lifting for you. So how long does that crazy-looking command take to work its magic? About 1 minute. Yeah, you heard me right. In roughly 60 seconds, the installer does its thing and Project Nomad is officially up and running on your computer. It is unbelievably efficient. Okay, so the structure is built, the server is running. Now for the absolute best part, stocking the shelves. This is where you get to customize your server and choose exactly what knowledge you want to save in your own personal offline library. And you get to pick everything from a super simple web page. You can choose from different AI models. You can decide if you want the small text-only Wikipedia or the massive 100-gigabyte version with all the pictures. You can download maps for your region and pull in entire collections about medicine, survival skills, you name it. It's totally up to you. A lot of people ask, okay, how big of a hard drive do I actually need for all this? And honestly, you probably don't need as much as you think. On a pretty standard 1 terabyte drive, even after you've downloaded a ton of great content, you are still left with a ridiculous amount of free space. A 1 terabyte drive is more than enough for almost anybody. And that's it. The build is done. The server is stocked and ready to go. It's officially time for the grand opening of your very own offline knowledge library. I mean, just step back and think about the transformation here. You've taken what might have been a totally forgotten piece of hardware and turned it into this incredibly powerful, resilient server. It's your personal internet, and it is 100% under your control. So, how well does it actually work? Well, the local AI is surprisingly smart. When you ask it that classic Monty Python trick question, what is the maximum airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? The offline AI comes back with the perfect response, what do you mean, an African or European swallow? It's not just a boring database. This thing is an intelligent tool. And for all you tinkerers out there who love to see how your gear stacks up, there's even a built-in benchmark test. You can run it to see how your hardware is performing, you get what's called a Nomad score, and you can even compare it to other users on a public leaderboard. Pretty cool. But really, when you get right down to it, what you've built is a knowledge survival kit. It's a resource that is completely free from any external network, any big tech company, or any internet provider. It is your information, and it's secure no matter what happens. And all of this really just leads to one final big question. Once you have this incredible power right at your fingertips, basically the sum of human knowledge running in your own home, what are you going to learn first?